Well, well, well. We are here again. We are here again. So tonight, our subject matter, as I promised yesterday, we're going to go dive back into Sha'Carri Richardson. I did promise I would do at least one more video on this, so here we are. You see the title here. Do you think Sha'Carri Richardson will end up like X-Men and other athletes that were, you know, high profile, high named athletes, and then they did not really turn out to be the greatest athlete? So we'll see. I'm going to hear your thoughts tonight, but first we're going to go into the background here. And don't forget that you are watching Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes, performances, and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. And if you are joining us tonight, you might see some ads or something in between, but don't forget to bless the like button, the share button. That is very, very, very important. If you share this, I see the analytics and what people are doing. Some of you guys are sharing it through WhatsApp. That means you're probably many international people, maybe hailing from Europe or Africa, because WhatsApp is used a lot over in those continents. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Comment definitely here. If you're seeing this after the live stream, comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. So, I see some people commented here beforehand. Well, if it is true that she's not turning up to practice, that's going to be pretty messed up. Salute to everybody. Salute to Zipmo1. Expect fast times considering the meet will be held in Nairobi. Yes, that's what I want to get to. So let me get to that right now since you brought that one up. I'm going to let some people load in, but we're going to get straight to this one. We're going to get straight into this. Fraser Price, Sha'Carri Richardson to face off in Nairobi. This just came out a couple hours ago. It kind of surprised me that the Kipkeino Classic is this early on. Usually the Kipkeino Classic, I love watching that meet. To my understanding, the Kipkeino Classic is usually after the championships, unless I'm wrong. Somebody in Kenya, we got a couple Kenyan subscribers here. That's usually after the championships. So whether it's World Championships or Olympics, is usually after that, except for on the off year. And I guess since this was, they said LMAO can't hear you. Wait a minute. Hold on. Somebody said they can't hear me. They said, are you watching on mute? Hold on. Let's see. Are people hearing me right now? Hold on. Testing. Now when I get somebody here, let's see this. No, I don't know. Oh, they said it was your headphones. Okay, cool. So now we got it. It seemed like the problem here. Gotcha. Okay, because I know some people come in and they try to troll and say they can't hear, but when I saw somebody that's a regular face that is very trustworthy, I stopped what I was doing. Okay, but yeah. So with that being said, usually they have it on the off year, and since today, this is normally on an off year, maybe they're having it this early. But yes, they're having the two face off. Now this is what I think. Eventually, because of sponsorship contracts, Sha'Carri Richardson is going to have to run. That's what's required. She's gonna have to run at this point. The issue that will run into here is I think she could just run earlier. I don't think, in all honesty, this is what has worked against her. Now let's bring her up on the screen. Let's bring her up on the screen right here so that we are actually talking about a Sha'Carri Richardson. And she's marketed herself off and she changed it after NCAAs. She's never really shown this type of personality before. Now, I got to believe that this is part of her personality and that it's not 100% just an act. I can't say that this is all there, but I think some of it is a little bit, entertainment focused. And I do a little bit of that on the YouTube channel. you know, it's for the entertainment purposes a little bit, but this is more or less still my personality. Now, what I do gotta say is she's marketed herself off as everybody's running fast because I'm here. Remember that last year? She's like, hey, they putting down these times because I'm running fast. Now, from a marketing perspective, that makes sense. It rings true. You don't live in a vacuum when it comes to track and field. You see somebody else, you get a target on their back and they say, okay, I'm gonna outdo them. All right. So we can't just 100% say that that's the case. But I do gotta say one thing here. If she comes out early in the season, because I'm gonna come out with a video on Athing Mo, they're saying Athing Mo is slowing down. So if they're writing about Athing Mo slowing down, she just opened up with a 51.57 or something in her 400, which they're already talking about. That's the slowest 400 she's done. Even last year, her indoor 400 was never that slow. She didn't run anywhere near it. So if they're doing that with Athing Mo, imagine what they're going to do with Sha'Carri Richardson with the clicks they can get saying, oh, she's slowing down, and she opens up and she's running like a 11 flat, 11-1 something, or 11-0, or even a 10-9. They're going to be like, okay, what happened to Sha'Carri Richardson? They're going to be all over it. To me, if I'm her, I would not be concerned with what anybody else is saying there. Actually, I would have liked to see her show up at these meets. If she only came by and ran a fair time, running, especially with the wins, she may not be as in shape as she wants to be. But if she just runs 11-1, 11-0, 10-9 something, cool. That's fine. At least she put down a time. Another argument here is, and that's where I would like to give her a chance with that, because that's the argument here. Like, people will be writing up and down on her. And at that point, if they did say that early in the season, I wouldn't even make a video on it, to be honest. But here's the other side of it. If on the other hand, she is Bree Wayne said, I think we should give her some grace. I'm definitely rooting for her and giving her the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Giving her a little bit of benefit of the doubt here. Here's the other part. If you look at her progression, and actually if you look at her results, this would be better to look at. She tends to putter out after college. Her college coach got her real good, but after college she tends to kind of putter out at her performances. This was the last Prefontaine that she did in 2019, finished 4th. Here were the USA trials that she did. She finished dead last at USA trials. Toward the end of her seasons, and then you could even see the same thing in her 200s and everything, running 23. She didn't even get out of the semis or anything like that at the USA trials. If you look at her progression, she kind of peaks a little bit early, if you want to take it that way. I look at it as more of a burnout. But the thing is, I think she might be, because D'Angelo did say it in our Discord. He put up a good point that she might be trying to delay her season so that she doesn't peak too early. What do y'all think about that? She might delay her season so she doesn't peak too early. And I got to give credit to D'Angelo for pointing that out. Because the only thing that I have an issue with is if she signs up. It's not really an issue, me personally. It's some people that were making noise about it, so I made a video on it. But it's just like she's signing up and then not showing up. That shows a little bit indecisiveness. But otherwise, it's just like, that makes sense. It rings true. She is Bree Wayne says, love that she's playing duck. Shelly did too with Elaine last year. The little bit difference with this is that I mean, this does add a little bit of needed drama that's in track and field. I gotta admit this. Track and field generally can be perceived as boring to a lot of people. And so we need some people that's gonna cause some of the drama here, right? So let me get into the main topic here. So after I covered that, if you think the coach is gonna have her in the proper spot, here's the other thing. Let me bring up Mr. X-Man here, because some people may not know who I'm speaking of with X-Man. So let me bring him up on the screen for you guys so you know who I'm talking about. This is one Xavier Carter. Remember Xavier Carter? Now, I'm going to bring up his Wikipedia because it's a little bit easier for everybody to see what I'm talking about here. I'm also going to bring him up. Where is his tab? Right here. Now, remember where he ran that 1963? I remember I was hyped over that. He did this in the Diamond League in Lausanne. Now, ultimately he wound up getting second in Brussels right here with the 1997. But that was quite literally the highlight. And that was, if you look at his results before and after, this looks like an anomaly. And so somebody was pointing out in the comment section that, Sha'Carri had ran a fast time once. And then I would argue that it was 2 seasons and a difference of 2 years, because that COVID-19 and everything slowed everything else down. I would argue that it's a little bit different. So what I would say is, wish he end up like Xavier Carter. He got a deal, he got signed, and then boom, nothing else happened after it. Look, you can see it right here under his progression. All right, here we go. 10.09. He never broke 10. He ran a 10 flat. Okay. He got into some legal issues or something in Florida in 2008, so that might have distracted him a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, he didn't even show up to his 200 final. This is, oh yeah, what I'm highlighting is 2008. You guys don't see that. Let me see here. Oh yeah, you see it on the right side. So yeah, I think he didn't even show up to his 200-meter final and at the USA trials. There's been plenty of athletes before that did horribly in their 100. If I'm not mistaken, Walter Dix did that. And then he came back in the 200, made the team. And then ultimately got a bronze medal. So Xavier Carter, I guess he was like, man, I got embarrassed in the 100, came dead last, whatever happened with him, and then he's here. But here's a prime example of somebody that could be looked at with a whole bunch of potential. 1963, and never does anything with it. By 2011, he's out of the sport. 2011, he's out of the sport. Now, I had to argue that I think his 400 is the thing that kept him anchored, because you could clearly see Thunder Juice said X-Man's contract was the largest track contract for a new signee. Interesting. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was another thing. So I think he still got a contract now, or at least it was a lasting one, because they still don't even list him as retired. He's clearly retired. He ain't done nothing since 2011, so he's got to be retired. But because of the way his contract was set up, either somebody didn't update his page, or he's still maybe getting some money with that. But yeah, maybe these contracts go to athletes' heads. You said, I think he's fine. Yeah, he could be fine. He could be doing fine because the contract. But I'm talking about from the aspect of doing anything. He got signed 1963, okay, that's a lot of hype. 1992, okay, cool. Not every season you're going to have your best. That's the Osaka year. Okay, Tyson Gade doing his thing, getting the 1, the 2, the 4x1. All right, 20.25. Okay, it's an off year. Wait a minute. No, that's not an off year. Isn't that Beijing? That's a little bit shaky. Then we go to Berlin, and then it's 20.27, and then you never really see anything. So this is my worry here. Now you see this a dime a dozen with 800 athletes out of Kenya. And to the audience that's here right now, that's here in the live, are there any other athletes that you saw that were a little bit hyped up, whether it's in Jamaica, that you thought were going to do something when they went into the pro area, and then they just sputtered out, and you were just like, wow, they didn't amount to anything? You can't say Brianna Williams. She got a gold medal. She's made the team. She's on the relay team, got the Jamaican national record. That doesn't count. Somebody that's got a medal doesn't count, because if that's the case, you could start arguing Wallace Spearman or something like that, right? But he's got a medal. He's on the relay team. You see athletes out of Kenya, dime a dozen. Knowing in Guinea, you could say for the people that know him, but he got a 2000 world record, Olympic gold medalist in the 1500 against Hisham El Garouj. There are Jordan Hussey, her track career. Now, she did come out against Alberto Salazar, but she was a phenom in the high school area, a phenom at the U20s and U23. And then she went to the pro area, did absolutely nothing and struggled when it came to the 1500, 5000, 800, whatever it was. And she struggled and struggled. But Jordan Hussey, I remember her. She didn't do anything when she was there. So there's a lot of athletes that get kind of hyped up, and there's a lot of media support for them, and then they don't wind up being there. But in terms of the 100, I'm sure y'all can think of a lot of Jamaican athletes that I would know no names of, because for quite frankly, thinking back in the past, sometimes we wouldn't hear, you can hear your local country, right? It just depends on how much you're paying attention internationally. You can hear your local country. Everybody probably knows about that. They Nick Roberts said Shelly deleted all the posts related to the meet in Kenya. Strange. Oh, that's very interesting. Daryl Richardson said Shelly Ann McMeltdown. Dang, dude. Come on, man. You said, oh, Mary Kane. There we go. Mary Kane. There we go. That's the athlete I was thinking of. Thank you, Tampa Eagle. Not Jordan Hussey. She's not the one that came against Alberto Salazar. That was my mistake there. But yeah, Mary Kane. So you're seeing these athletes here, and that's crazy. You bogus for that Stephanie Ann McMeltdown though. That's a funny name. She kind of did have that meltdown. I gotta admit, she had that meltdown. D Har said that 1075 was a fluke. The wacky tobacco was a mask. Okay, no, okay. All right. D Har, now that I got you here live, you said her coach was an unscrupulous competitor. I should start having live call-ins, but I'm not going to do that right now. Why do you think you're going to be 20 seconds delayed when you hear this, but why do you think that she was the coach, or her coach was an unscrupulous competitor? Because maybe I don't know the background of the coach like that. Maybe you know something else that I don't know, D-Hard. Maybe you know something that I don't know about the coach. Because the coach seemed to put out athlete after athlete. Did she not go to LSU? LSU is basically like the 100, 200 capital of the United States. Like, there are different areas in Jamaica, Britain, Kenya. There's a little subset of where all the athletes are coming out of Kenya. And most of the 100 and 200 athletes, especially on the women's side, have really been coming out of LSU. Now it's starting to shift a little bit to Texas A&M or so. But LSU have been producing 100, 200 meter athletes. You got Muna Lee coming out of there as well. So what are you talking about, an unscrupulous competitor? What does a competitor have to do with the coach at LSU? The coach at LSU got stripes more than any of us in this comment section or on this channel can actually even say. I got to give him his roses and everything. The coach there is phenomenal. So yeah, they said D-Har said, I will look up the facts and come back to you. Yeah, she is rewind. You're right. Sha'Carri has been performing since high school. This is the thing. That's the thing that I'm worried about. What happens when Sha'Carri Richardson is performing in high school and then she doesn't? Here's the progression right here. You can see her performances here. She's been a great athlete. Look at this. These are all high school. She was in college in 2019. Anything before that were high school performances, and she ain't really been doing that bad. This 1153, that's the variance of year to year. She didn't necessarily have a straight up performances or straight down in times, but she ain't really been too bad of a performer. So she didn't come out of nowhere. Now the 1075 is a huge drop, admittedly, even from her 1128. But this is kind of what happens with some athletes. You got Favor Ophelia that was running, that is and was running phenomenal last year from what she's done. Favor Ophelia, matter of fact, was a 16-year-old that made the semifinals in the 400 in Doha. So, Timothy the Inventor, there we go. How you doing? But yeah, so I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of with Sha'Carri Richardson in general. The only thing that I've had is she going to be able to turn her mouth and the marketing behind that into a win? When she can, I love me some trash talkers. A lot of the people that come in here and that's going to be, trash talking or whatever, and they see the videos where I did the roast and stuff, and they think that's the energy I have. I just roasted her because she's a trash talker. Then she trash talked people after she got last place. She kind of brought it on herself, just like the dude on the men's 4x100 that threw everybody under the bus after he didn't lean at the line and he didn't do his job. Sure, they didn't practice their baton exchanges. Team Jamaica on the women's side didn't either, and they got a gold. The USA men had an easy pathway to getting through to the next round and making the final at the Olympics. This man made an embarrassment and vomited all over himself and made a video after the fact saying, well, the results would have been different. I'm roasting them all the same. So when she wins, I'm going to be right there saying, yeah, finally she got a win. She, as Bree Wayne said, she wasn't one to talk trash either. If you look her past videos, that's new. Yeah, she's doing this whole marketing thing. So my question to you all, will she end up like an Xavier Carter and other athletes like that, where we were seeing that they were phenoms in high school? Some people brought up Candace Hill on one of my previous videos, and I was like, I hesitate to say that. She's 23 years old, right? Currently, Candace Hill went through injuries and everything. So I can't necessarily say that she's a current running athlete. I will only put the death nail on them when they're finished. Yeah, I'm not trying to say old dude's name. I know exactly who it is. I'm not trying to say old dude name. I really had lost respect for him a little bit. If he comes up doing anything now, he might get the same energy with that. Timothy the Inventor said, who cares if she didn't talk trash 3 years ago? She does now, and that's a problem. She's a hypocrite. Yeah, and in a lot of ways, see, that's what happens. When you talk trash, you got to be able to back it up. Michael Johnson backed up his trash talk. Edwin Moses, I think he's got to be the greatest athlete in our history, because the man, in any of the decathletes, really. Because the man, he showed up. He didn't chicken out on no races. He showed up. He kept consistently his averages. He's like Eliud Kipchoge in the marathon. The dude comes out. He's going to, you almost guaranteed to see him run 2:04 or faster. His average for his marathon, I think, is only a 2:04:35. The man is running at previously unheard of levels before 2007. You wouldn't even have seen anybody run because the world record was like 2:05 or something. 2:03 was Haile Gebrselassie when he broke it. But you didn't really see 2:04s like that. This man's eating 2:04s like freaking food. So I think that if she's going to trash talk, she needs to back it up. Not only does she need to run fast, she needs to win. And unfortunately for her, and it really is, it would be partially her fault anyway, she took the weed and she got banned. I can't take that away and say, well, whatever. Now the decision afterward, that could be argued either way, given our friends at the Olympic Committee or whatever the arbitration is. Okay, cool. Friends, I use that loosely. Now, but she still brought it upon herself. If she can't bring up the trash talk like she did on that video last year with that ad, and then people were saying, well, she never did claim she would win. When you say a video saying, tapping your fingers and going like this and saying, well, it's my time. It's my time. It's finally my time. Well, you know, McLaughlin had a family that said it's her time as t-shirts. Now they would have looked a little bit goofy if McLaughlin didn't win against Dalilah Muhammad at the Olympic trials, right? They were wearing those shirts. They wouldn't have looked too goofy because when they wearing the saying it's her time, that just really means she could make it to the Olympics. But she had already really done that. So it's her time, as in you're implying that you're going to win. That's that plausible deniability, lawyer leads, politician talk. We all know what was being implied there. So they said what happened to Candace Hill, also Tamari Davis. Oh yeah. So yeah, Tamari Davis, she's currently competing and everything like that. That could be argued. D-Har said, quote, y'all don't have to worry about any doping situations coming from me, end quote, said Richardson when asked about working with Mitchell earlier this year. Quote, I am back. I back him 1,000%, end quote. Why would she say that? Oh, I thought, okay, I'm talking about the, okay, I get what you're saying, D-Har. You talking about Coach Mitchell. Yeah, I can give you that the history with him. I'm thinking of somebody else. I will give you that one. The history with him is very questionable, but I mean, it's just like people talking about Alberto Salazar at this point. I can't say that they're even equivalent because having a coach with a history of athletes that have been busted for more or less versus Alberto Salazar pushing the limits and staying right under the limit of doping, because you technically didn't even violate anything, but then they banned him anyway. So it's like you didn't technically violate anything, so he shouldn't have been banned. I don't see that as any different as most of the athletes they do right now. They probably microdope. They probably do all of that stuff there, and yet they're not caught. I think it was probably his personality or something that got him banned. So I could give you that one. I can give you that one to a certain extent. Now, unscrupulous or not, and unless you prove that the person is, you know, beating anything. Oh, and by the way, weed, let me just set you straight here. Weed is not a masking agent. So we can set the retardation and bring that to somebody else that will entertain that idiocy. I brought it up last year. How about you go back on the older videos and look last year around the summertime, right around the Olympics or something, and look at my video where I proved it with the studies. And you can simply Google that, look at studies. I pay money for studies. So the weed is not a masking agent. So you could go shove that and go somewhere else, right? You could go shove that somewhere else, right? I don't need nobody entertaining something. It's just like saying Eugene, Oregon is at altitude. I can't wait for people to say some of that stupid stuff over the summer again like they did last year while I was proving it that it wasn't at altitude. I had to go. I can't believe I had to use a video to then explain that. It's like ABCs of 1 + 1 = 2. You could Google it yourself and then see where the altitude is and know it's not altitude. Atlanta is higher altitude than Eugene. And Atlanta wasn't even called altitude. By technicalities and under the altitude thing, Atlanta would have been qualified for high altitude. And under the studies, that actually is. But we don't ever say that. They say, I never noticed Tamara Davis' decline. I remember all those videos about her in 2020, putting her up against the rival of Brianna Williams. Timothy the Inventor said. They said, May 9th to kill you. We will know where she is at her training for. She'll be running against Shelly. John Lasker said. Yep. Might have tainted Sha'Carri. Yeah, okay. She is Bree Wayne. Leave it alone at D-Hard. Mitchell trains Kenny too. Why haven't y'all asked questions? Exactly. At this point, I don't see any. I don't see anything there. Daryl Richardson said, I don't see a problem with the thyroid medication. Oh, yeah. D-Hard said, Kenny does not bring the attention and hype. Okay, so here we go. Here's the admitted thing right here. The only reason people have a real problem against Sha'Carri Richardson, and this is the proof. He's here. There's nothing really wrong with that. Is that she's the one that's doing the trash talking, so she's bringing it upon herself. When people put out that energy, they're getting the energy magnified back. That's all I wanted to do. D-Har here, I'm glad he made that comment right there. He is the proof right there. He admitted it right there. He said, but I might be 100% wrong. There you go. Now, what I will say is, I need you to stop saying that weed is a masking agent, because it's factually incorrect. I'm vegan myself. I went vegan because of the science there. Carl Lewis went vegan so that he could extend his career and everything like that. So that's the thing. If you say something factually incorrect like that, and I spent money, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars to read these studies myself that they put out for the public to read. So nah, I don't need that. And when I do my research on these, I did and I will be spending more money so that I can prove and come up to you guys. So when I talk about DSD, which I'm torn on that, because if they're women, then that means they have naturally high testosterone levels. Let them freaking run. And if they're not women, then we got a different problem. Then they need to be banned in all of them, and then something else needs to be put in place. That's all it is. It should be very open shut. Timothy the Inventor said, quote, Kenny doesn't bring attention and hype, question mark, end quote. What? D-Har said he wants her to succeed. Then you're saying he's nitpicking and choosing who you want to hate at this point. Timothy said, E-Dub, gang, gang, there you go. They said we have 16-year-olds in Jamaica running 11.6 and 11.22. Joel Thomas said. But yeah, so anyway, will she end up like this? That was what I wanted to bring to attention here. I have a feeling I will give my answer to this later this season. I'm going to say it early now. If she winds up blowing up at the age of 22 right now, she's going to be 23. Oh, wait a minute. No. She's going to be 23 next year. If she blows up at the age of 22 now, I think I've seen 3 seasons now. 3 is a pattern. 1 is a dot, 2 is a line, 3 is a pattern. If she blows up at this season again, I'm going to say that she's a little bit overhyped. At the current moment, I would say that right now I'm indecisive on this. I'm going to say no, she will not end up like X-Men, which is Xavier Carter. For those that are joining us right now, Xavier Carter, for those that don't know him, he's one of the NCAA champions. He ran in 1963. He's currently the 9th fastest sprinter, as it says here. He was the 2nd fastest 200-meter athlete when he did it in 2006. 2nd fastest in history. So, or 2nd fastest person. I think it was the 3rd fastest performance. But he was, oh no, I think that was the 2nd fastest performance. But he had so much with him. He had the highest grossing contract for a rookie, if we're not mistaken. I think Timothy the Inventor pointed that out. But this is crazy, because if she winds up like an Xavier Carter, and I'm not trying to trash on him, I really think that he could have done some things differently, but it just turned out unfortunate for him. If she winds up like him, then we're going to see the progression go from we're getting faster, and then there's a spotlight here. He looked like he could have done well with this 10 flat. That was a new PR in 2008. That was Beijing Olympics. And then he just sputtered out, and then he's gone. He took his money and he said, look, I can't do it anymore. And he left. He was still really young. 2011. He's only 36 now. So that means he retired in 2011. He would have been 25 when he retired. 25. That's still plenty of time he could have kept training. Now looking back at this now, again, times are going down, which is the correct direction to go. Obviously, there's going to be a point where you just reach your PR. I can't expect PRs all the time. And then he kind of putters out and he doesn't reach those levels anymore. And it's just unfortunate for somebody that was as talented as him, as early as him, that he was doing well, and then he simply got injured, if I'm not mistaken, and then he didn't come back. It's hard to come back from injury. Yes, it's hard to come back from injury. We see Johan Blake still trying to compete, but he stopped at 25. So I mean, was it? I can't remember if it was a career-ending injury type of thing, but there are some athletes like a Johan Blake. He had a career ender, and he's out here competing. So I gotta have much respect for Johan Blake. He did a lot when he was in his prime. It was hard to bet against him during that time. Oh shoot, I got my lights on for this fish tank. But yeah, that's all I got to say today, guys. Thank you guys for coming out today. Thank the people that for supporting me. I will get to everybody that I should on my Instagram in a couple of days. I'm just trying to make sure my NFT gets launched. So that's supposed to be tomorrow. If we have yet another delay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up an alternate site so that people can buy it. They might even be able to buy it with their debit card or credit card or something like that. We're going to focus on that. But today, you guys have been watching Head and Shoulders ATR, where we cover athletes' performances and otherwise that are head and shoulders above the rest. She is Wayne. Let me read these comments before I go. Said, thank you, boss. They need to let that master agent thing go. Yep. They said, Edop said, so who is training Richardson? Is she still with Star Athletics? I believe she still is. Timothy Inventor said, like, I don't know that already. Oh, responded to that comment above with the 11:16 and everything. 11:34 at 16 is still really fast. Yeah, it is. But he got injured. Another example, Johan Blake, 22 years old, when he last ran, hit a sub 9.9. Yeah, Johan Blake. The difference between Johan Blake is that he got a medal, and when I say things with Xavier Carter or with X-Man, he didn't get a medal at all. He don't got a 4x1. He doesn't have an open one. He don't got a 2. He don't got a 4, a 4x4 or anything. He's got NCAAs though, so that's still good. But he doesn't have Pan American Games. He doesn't have anything. Even other people had that. So there you go. D-Har said, great show, bro. I'll catch you all next time. And tomorrow, I think I'm going to go back over to, it's either going to be Africa or Europe. And I'm going to cover an athlete from over there. But then I'm going to come back because we're getting and gearing up for this weekend with the Carifta Games. That's going to be really exciting for the Caribbean. It's hosted in Jamaica. So you guys tell me about that. I'm going to have somebody in Kenya stationed for me for the Kipkeno Classic. Hopefully we get video on the ground. I got somebody that's already talked to some of the staff there at their stadium that they're hosting. Like I said, I'm trying to do some things there. That's why I want this NFT to do really well, because it's going to help me do things that I want to do. I got somebody stationed in Kenya on behalf of me. So they're going to be there covering that. And then we're going